What if the secret to building a $1 trillion empire wasn't some complicated formula, but just a set of 7 core habits? Today, we're going to break down the principles that took Jeff Bezos from a guy on Wall Street to a legit global titan. Let's dive in.
So just to get a sense of the scale we're dealing with, let's look at this number. $1 trillion. That's what Amazon's valuation has blown past. It's a number so big, it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around.
And that really brings us to the big question, right? How in the world did that happen? How does a company that started out selling books from a garage become this global powerhouse that's completely changed how we shop, how the internet works, pretty much everything? Well, the answer isn't some single magic bullet. It's a really consistent set of habits, of operating principles. We're going to walk through all 7. And listen, I want you to pay really close attention because habit number 6, it's a mental model that Bezos used for his biggest life decisions. And honestly, it's something you can start using like today. First things first, let's get into the foundation. These next 2 habits, they're the bedrock. This is what the entire Amazon strategy is built on. So the first, and probably the most famous one, is customer obsession. Now, this isn't just about, having good customer service. It's about flipping the whole invention process on its head. Instead of building some cool new thing and then trying to find people to buy it, Amazon starts with the customer's problem and literally invents the solution backwards from there. This one simple idea drove almost every big move at Amazon. Just think about it for a sec. One-click ordering, Amazon Prime, even Alexa. None of those started with some engineer saying, I have a cool piece of tech. They all started by asking, what would make our customers' life way easier? Okay, so the second pillar is long-term thinking. And in a world that is completely driven by quarterly reports and quick wins, this is a pretty radical idea. It's all about planting seeds for a forest you might not get to see for like 10 years or more. And this quote, this shows you just how hard that is. For years, Wall Street was hammering Amazon for not making a profit, for just reinvesting every single penny back into the business. But Bezos, he was playing a totally different game, a much, much longer game, building this incredible foundation for the future. So you've got this foundation, but how do you actually execute on it? Well, this next section is all about building an internal culture that's just designed for high performance. Habit number 3 is all about insisting on the highest standards. Bezos had this belief that people are actually energized by working in a high-performance environment. That high standards kind of act like a magnet, pulling in other high performers, and you get this amazing upward spiral of excellence. And this question, wow, it totally reframes the whole idea, doesn't it? It's not just about doing a good job. The goal is to set a bar that feels genuinely scary, a bar that forces you to grow and to invent new ways to even get there. Next up, making decisions with data. Look, gut feelings are important, but at Amazon, they have to be backed up by cold, hard numbers. You can think of it this way. Your intuition might be the spark, but the data is the fuel that actually makes the engine go. And the key takeaway here is pretty simple. Tracking all these numbers isn't about creating busy work. It's about getting clarity. It's a universal principle, really. If you're not measuring something, there's no way you can systematically make it better. Okay, now we're getting to the stuff that really fuels Amazon's constant reinvention. What are the habits that keep that legendary innovation engine running? This one might be the most counterintuitive of all. Embrace failure. Yeah, you heard that right. For Bezos, if you're not failing, you're not inventing. Experimentation, just by its nature, means some of your bets are just not going to pay off. And that's not just okay, it's actually required. The Fire Phone is the absolute perfect example. It was a huge, very public failure, a total flop. But the billions they invested and all the lessons they learned about hardware and voice technology, that directly paved the way for one of their biggest home runs ever, Alexa and the whole Echo ecosystem. This quote just sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? You literally cannot have one without the other. If you choose to invent, you are also choosing the possibility of failure. All right, let's get to the habit we teased at the very beginning, the personal framework that guided Bezos' single most important life choice. This is it, the regret minimization framework. And this is so much more than a business tool. It's like a life algorithm. This is the exact mental model he used when he was deciding whether to leave his cushy Wall Street job to start a super risky internet bookstore. And this is the core question. It's so simple, but so powerful.
He imagined himself at 80 years old, looking back on his life. And he knew he wouldn't regret trying and failing. But what he knew with 100% certainty was that he would regret never having tried at all.
And this slide really breaks down the genius of it. So often, our big decisions are controlled by short-term fear, right? The fear of failing, of looking stupid, and that fear pushes us towards safety, toward doing nothing. But this framework forces you to focus on avoiding long-term regret, and that pushes you toward making an impact, toward really living. And finally, the habit that really holds all the others together, a relentless commitment to learning. Bezos is known for being a voracious reader, business books, science, history, you name it. The belief is simple. If you want to be a leader, you have to be a learner. To think bigger, you have to constantly be feeding your mind.
So we've broken down all 7 habits. But the big question now isn't just about understanding them, it's about applying them. So, where do you even begin?
Look, you don't have to tackle all 7 at once. Here are 3 super actionable places to start. You could apply that customer obsession idea to your work tomorrow. You could use that regret minimization framework the very next time you're in a major crossroads. Or you could just build that foundational habit of reading and learning every single day.
At the end of the day, information is only useful if it leads to action. So as we wrap up, just look at this list one more time. Which one of these habits really speaks to you right now? Which one, if you just started doing it today, could honestly change everything for you?